Hello and welcome to the Staten Island Morning Show. It's Tuesday, January 24th. I'm Christina Bear in for Nikki Stanzione.
And I'm Don Smith. We're so glad you could join us.
We're going to start off first with your weather before we get to your headlines and our guests this morning. It's a cold start this morning with temperatures around 35 degrees. So you might want that remote start to the car to get the heat going. I don't have that, by the way. I need to invest in that. Later this afternoon, we'll get up to 44 degrees under a mainly sunny sky. So don't forget the sunglasses as you head out the door this morning. Take a look at the temperatures across the island today. We will get to 44 degrees in Woodrow, Tottenville, and New Drop. Now also towards northern sections of the island, such as Bull's Head and St. George, expect a high of 43 degrees. We are tracking another storm coming our way for tomorrow. We're going to have more details on that coming up. So stay tuned.
So stay tuned, as they say, the tease, right?
And that snow might actually start to fall tomorrow. So
exactly.
That's a little teaser for you.
Yes, yeah. So maybe get some things done that you maybe had planned yesterday for today.
Yeah.
You know, but you mentioned that sun glare, K-Bear. So let's go to the traffic maps here this morning. So we're seeing that. And we really haven't kind of seen that in the last couple of days. Let's start off with the South Shore first. We'll work our way north. Outer Bridge Crossing, that looks pretty good. West Shore Expressway is fine. So is the Korean War Veterans Parkway. That's in good shape. Let's show you New Jersey again. There's a lot of folks on the South Shore who head over to New Jersey, do shopping at Woodbridge Center, Menlo Park. That looks good. Southbound Turnpike, though, watch there coming in interchange 10. You've got road work setting up until about 2:30. That's on the truck side of things. And then the northbound side of 287 still fairly heavy there in Edison. We continue on over to Highland Boulevard. That is moving along nicely. So is the rest of the West Shore Expressway. Pretty quiet heading up to the area of the Staten Island Expressway. Goethals Bridge back to New Jersey is fine, but be aware 19 south here. Looks like we have a crash as you come into Linden. Up by Wheeler Park there, just before you come up to Stiles Street and the Aviation Plaza Shopping Center. Again, keep that in mind. And that is a fairly heavy ride. I'm going to do some more investigation. Maybe we can show you a camera there to see what's going on. But the eastbound side of the expressway busy through the long-term construction. We'll take you out to that location here at Richmond Avenue. You can see the lane shifting there. That's really the only reason why that is going to be slowing down. And then we make our way further to the east. As you travel west now, they're setting up construction, shutting down the HOV lane as you come in towards Richmond Avenue. North Shore, we're fine. Bayonne Bridge, that looks good. Heading out to St. George to the ferry, we're also in good shape. Even the Verrazano really looks good, but again, bring along the sunglasses for that eastbound trip. Eastbound on the belt, a little heavy here at Bay 8th Street, but when is that not like ever a problem, right? Inbound Gowanus is still pretty busy getting through Industry City into the Prospect and eventually across the top of the world and the BQE up to the Brooklyn Bridge. But again, par for the course here a little after 9 o'clock in the morning. And then if you're traveling out to Kennedy east on the belt, looks fantastic. I mean, it really looks great as you get out through Howard Beach and into Kennedy Airport. We go to the MTA today, tomorrow, and Friday. All Staten Island Railway trains from Arthur Kill to Prince's Bay board at the Tottenville bound platform. Something to keep in mind if you're a little bit of a rush and miss your train maybe if you don't get on the right train.
It's the worst feeling in the world.
I know.
We don't want that to happen.
We do not want that to happen. Exactly.
All right, Donnie.
Okay.
Well, let's get to your headlines now. And Borough President Favetta is unveiling a new marketing campaign called Stay on Staten Island. The campaign intends to encourage Staten Islanders to take advantage of everything the borough has to offer. Kicked off yesterday with a YouTube video highlighting many of the attractions on Staten Island. I think it's a great idea. Let's put it out there. Show people what they're missing.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Staten Island, marketing of Staten Island, I think is a good thing, and that's huge. Hence the fourth genesis of this show as well. Yeah. Because Staten Island, again, they say the forgotten borough, right. But, I mean, to really show what locally is happening along Staten Island. Again, there's a lot of folks who don't really know kind of like what's happening down the street in your neighborhood. Right. So it's a good way to kind of connect with the folks that are living near you and what else is going on in Staten Island.
And social media.
Social media, there's so many things happening. Yeah. As maybe a tourist kind of destination to a degree for Elizabeth. I mean, there's a million things here in Staten Island to do. So
it's really cool. Check it out.
All the time.
Online. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, K-Bear. New data shows that the XBB 1.5, got to get that right.
I know.
There's so many variants now. Variant has now become the dominant strain in New York City, accounting for 81% of the total cases. Unlike the rise of previous variants, XBB 1.5 has not led to a spike in cases, which have been slightly on the decline.
That's the good news. The latest data on the city's COVID-19 dashboard currently shows a daily average of 2,220 cases. They are saying this variant is, easily passable. Once again, it's just remaining vigilant at this point and just, washing your hands, doing your due diligence,
Yeah, and
and all that
maybe
stuff.
if you are in, again, I'm not going to get into a whole thing about the masking thing, but maybe if you are in a situation where you feel comfortable wearing the mask,
Yeah.
maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it a couple of weeks ago towards the end of last year, and it was probably this XBB 1.55. Sounds like a Star Wars droid.
Right. Not as cute though.
Not as cute. No, trust me, it was not.
No.
Cute is not the word I'm
No.
using for COVID
Yeah.
at
But
all.
again, it's more of just like common sense, vigilance, that kind of thing.
Sure,
There's going to be a ton of variants coming, from here on out. So
Right.
it's really just trying to stay
just
on
a
top
matter
of
of
it.
just having to figure out, just
Yeah.
the best way to live with it.
Yeah.
Is really what
And
it comes down to.
respecting other people.
Exactly. That's right. Absolutely. All right. Governor Hochul announced up to $7.5 million in state grant money will be made available to fund opioid treatment programs.
Yeah, it's the first time that the state government will use money from the opioid settlement fund, and that money will fund up to 15 different treatment programs all around New York State. This is huge. They're, making sort of headway trying to battle this opioid addiction and all of these issues that come along with it. And I think, any little bit counts at this point. So
yeah, as much as you can maybe stay off of those if you're able to.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for everything. And there's
Yeah.
a time and a place for those. But I mean, how many times have I done stuff either my back or whatever, and they've prescribed stuff, and I'm like, no, I don't. I
Right.
don't want to get involved in it.
It was being your own advocate too.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Be the CEO of your own health, right?
Right.
Just kind of figure out what works best for you.
But putting that funding towards treatment centers, I think,
Yes.
is also, it's going to
Absolutely.
be a game changer, I think, at this
Totally.
point.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. The Italian Cultural Foundation at Casa Belvedere is a nonprofit that celebrates Italian heritage with a variety of programs, events, and activities.
Yeah, joining us now to tell us more is James Payone, the foundation's Director of Operations. Welcome to the show, James.
Hi, good morning. It's great to be here.
Well, thanks for being with us. So tell us, what is the goal of this foundation?
Well, our mission is to promote, preserve, and educate the Staten Island community with everything Italian, and also to restore a 1908 Roebling Stern mansion that is located on Howard Avenue in the Grimes Hill section of Staten Island.
That's fantastic.
Nice. Staten Island has so many historic homes and historic areas, that people, I just don't even think they even realize that are there.
Right.
What are some of the programs that you're going to be offering?
Well, we offer a lot, including art exhibits, cooking and language classes. We have a community garden. We have special events, Italian bingo, tombola game night, wine tasting, chef demonstrations, bocce tournaments, concerts, festivals, film viewing, both indoor and outdoor. We also offer now ballroom dancing lessons.
Ooh, that sounds fun. And we're seeing some of the photos here. The Casa Belvedere, as you mentioned, originally built in 1908. So much history here. Again, as you mentioned as well. What makes the building so special?
Well, the building was built back in 1908 by Louis Stern and John Roebling's granddaughter, Laura Roebling Stern. It's a New York City landmark and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It has a unique Italianate style architecture with arts and crafts detailing. Most of these mansions were lined along Howard Avenue, which was also known as Serpentine Road back many years ago, but many of these mansions were torn down to make way for urban development. But this mansion was saved back in 2009 by our president and founder, Gina Biancardi, who purchased the property before developers could take hold of it and started the foundation.
Wow. I mean, thankfully, because just seeing some of those views from there as well.
Oh, yeah, it's spectacular. And that's what I was going to ask you, James, before we get to the next question, is that, has that mansion ever been used in like TV and movies and stuff? It has, that Italian look, but right here in Staten Island, where they could, instead of having to fly to Italy to get those kind of shots.
Right.
Yeah, our mansion was the backdrop for a number of things. Most recently, it was
TV or movies?
Mrs. Maisel, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
And it was a great way to showcase the mansion, and there's nothing like it, so it's very unique. So when someone sees the mansion, they know that it's Staten Island and something to be proud of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just looking at this video, I was gonna say, it looks
Gorgeous.
familiar too.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that
Yeah.
somewhere, you know. So James, tell us some of your upcoming events.
Well, we started a new fitness program. So 8:30 every morning at Casa Belvedere, there'll be fitness classes. We also have weekly cooking and language classes. The end of February, we'll have a carnival in Venice. We're also introducing chess lessons and crochet lessons.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us where we can find more information.
Well, like anything else, there's a website. You have to visit casa-belvedere.org, and that's our website, and you can view all our programs, all our upcoming programs there, as well as histories and pictures and things all about Casa Belvedere.
Amazing. James, thanks so much for coming on the show today. We appreciate you.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Thank you
for having me.
Sounds like we got to make a road trip.
I know,
gotta go.
right? That place is beautiful.
gorgeous.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Just to spend an afternoon,
Sure.
have some lunch.
Exactly, right.
You know?
Right there in the veranda or whatever
Gorgeous.
you call it. Yeah.
Summertime,
That's
springtime.
it. Sure. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, later in the show, we'll learn about a local business raising the bar on cocktails.
And we'll also tell you about Project Hospitality and the work they do for the needy in Staten Island.
Hey, and don't forget, you can always find us on social media. Search for the Staten Island Morning Show on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and click follow.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
Travel is part of the American way of life.
When we're on vacation, we keep an eye out for anything that looks out of place.
Miss your bag.
When we travel from city to city, we pay attention to our surroundings.
Everyone plays a role in keeping our community safe.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, be aware of your surroundings. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Welcome back to the Staten Island Morning Show. You know, it's not a bad morning commute today weather-wise. We'll get
Correct,
to your
yeah.
traffic in a minute. But tomorrow morning's commute shouldn't be terrible either. However, the evening commute, yeah, that's going to be a different story. There's another storm coming into the area, which is expected to start out with some snow for the mid to late morning hours Wednesday. A light accumulation expected for us, especially on the colder surfaces, the grass, the sidewalks, your car, things like that. As we progress through the afternoon, however, that snow will eventually transition over to rain, washing away much, if not all of that accumulation. Now, once this passes, the coldest day out of the next 7 is Friday, but temperatures are expected to remain mostly above normal to close out the month of January. So odd. Stick around for details in your 7-day forecast later in the show to see if we'll get even more snow. That's coming up. But for now, we mentioned traffic. And
We did, yes. I wasn't dialing out. I was just trying to
you
find
were
that.
checking the map.
assumed
I
that was
see.
an
No,
accident,
you're
yeah.
not the only one that dials out when I speak.
no.
Talk to my husband.
Oh
Okay.
boy, okay. We got to talk to Scotty. All right, yeah. So this morning, we had finally see some sun after yesterday's just mess. So bring along the sunglasses for the ride. Let me come off of that because we'll get to that in a second. But let's start it off here with the delays on the Staten Island Expressway. We have just some minor backups westbound, getting into the construction zone up by Richmond Avenue, and then the same thing along the eastbound side. Let me bring up the camera here that I was so diligently trying to find. The westbound side here, I may be a little tough to see, but you see the HOV lane is closed. So you're down a lane basically. Getting into that construction at Richmond Avenue. So that's going to be there till just about 2 o'clock or so. They want to reopen that HOV lane for the evening rush hour. Let's go over to the northbound side of the West Shore Expressway. A little heavy getting onto the eastbound side of the expressway. Goethals Bridge is fine. 19 still fairly busy heading out to the Linden area. And yes, friends, that's what I was looking for here. I want to see if the cameras work for my good friends at New Jersey DOT. And of course, the ones we want, we don't have anything working. So, and that one is not working either. So we will spin off of that altogether. But there is something going on here. It looks like a crash just before the Aviation Plaza Shopping Center. You know, the Turnpike is fine. Goethals is good. Let's, since we're on the North Shore here, we'll look at the Bayonne Bridge is fine. St. George getting to the ferry along Bay Street is in great shape. So is Clove Road. Not much happening here at the Verrazano over towards Brooklyn. Even the Bell Parkway, look at this belt all the way out to basically Kennedy Airport is fine. Inbound Gowanus here at the Prospect. Looks like we may have a crash there. We'll check in about 10 minutes in our next report, see what I can find. Highland Boulevard is moving along well. South Shore, West Shore Expressway, Outer Bridge, Kareem War Veterans Parkway is moving well. If you happen to be heading into New Jersey and you're looking to connect here with the Turnpike, it's a little slow just south of 287 interchange 10 because there's road work in the truck lanes. So get in the car lanes if you can do so. I think that'll save you a little bit of time. And just make a note that all the Staten Island Railway trains from Arthur Kill to Prince's Bay will board at the Tottenville bound platform. And that is today, tomorrow, and Friday. Looks like they're skipping Thursday. I'm not quite sure why, but Friday. That's from till about 3 o'clock. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Busy, always busy.
It's
Never
always
a dull
busy.
moment.
Yeah, exactly. 5 boroughs, everything. Moving and grooving.
Everything's something's happening.
The New York groove, right? Yeah.
Hey, if you're hungry for some eats,
I
we got
am,
some news for you. Staten Island restaurants gearing up for Restaurant Month, which is kicking off next week. The second annual event begins next Monday, and it's going to feature discounts from about 60 restaurants. That's
Yeah,
pretty
these
good.
restaurant weeks are so popular
Yes.
all over the place. They did just a great job of
Yeah.
promoting the restaurants. The goal of the Restaurant Month is to help boost local food venues. A full list of the participating restaurants will be released tomorrow on the website for the Independent Restaurant Owners Association Rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great way to market it, and you can kind of just try some different restaurants that, you know, to be, let's be fair, maybe could be a little bit out of your price range
Right.
on a normal basis, but
Yeah.
at least you get a chance to try the food, and maybe you can figure out some way to get that in your price range, you
And
know?
score some good deals, and
Absolutely,
just- yeah.
sure, yeah. You know, there's so many different places that you can get, and you know, when they package the stuff together, a price fixed menu and stuff like that, really, you know, it's just a great way to get out and enjoy the restaurants
For
in your
sure.
neighborhood.
Yeah. And to know your community a little bit
Exactly.
more. Well, an Elm Park girl went missing Saturday morning, and the NYPD now looking for the public's help in finding her. 12-year-old Aria Garcia Smith was last seen leaving her home on Wright Avenue. Anyone with information on Aria's location is asked to contact the NYPD immediately. That is her picture up on screen as well.
Yes, if you have any information, certainly
Yeah.
call NYPD. And speaking of the NYPD, they are investigating after a synagogue in Oakwood was vandalized over the weekend. Authorities say the vandal left his car before running into a fence outside the synagogue, later fled the scene.
Yeah, the NYPD's Hate Crime Task Force now looking into this incident. Anyone with information encouraged to contact Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-800-577-TIPS. And again, you know, it's just any information would be helpful. If you see something, say something.
Exactly.
It's not just a slogan. They really want you to participate
Yeah.
and
If you have
and
any
help.
information, certainly go
Yeah.
ahead and let NYPD know. Call
Yeah.
Crime Stoppers tip line.
All right, well, coming up, we have something very unique here on Staten Island. We will tell you about the bar that comes to you.
Ooh.
Say, what now? 5 o'clock somewhere. You
Yeah,
can always
right,
find
exactly.
us, by the way, on social media. Search for the Staten Island Morning Show on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and click follow.
Nothing mysterious there. These are captions. Open captions are the on-screen display of a movie's dialogue, speakers' names, and sounds. Theaters in New York City are now required to show some of their movies with open captions. To learn more, visit nyc.gov/captions.
This is the place. Hey! Yo! This is my grandson, Mike. It's his 18th birthday.
Man.
Wow! One of the best years of my life.
Well, when I was 18, the ladies used to think I was fine.
Yeah, your grandma, maybe. Oh, come on, man. He's a smart guy, but I thought he could use a little advice today. Start putting away some money.
Call your mother.
And now that you're 18, you need to sign up with the Selective Service System.
Remember Jamie Thomas?
Yeah.
Heard he didn't register and was denied a job with TSA.
There you go.
That's it. Save money, call mom, and register with SSS.
Well, one other thing. Get yourself some better kicks.
Ugliest shoes I've ever seen.
Be the man. Register with the Selective Service System today at sss.gov.
And them socks, my God.
Welcome back to the Staten Island Morning Show. You know, Project Hospitality is a nonprofit that has been working to help the poor, the hungry, and the homeless across Staten Island for the last 40 years.
Joining us now to tell us more is the president and CEO of the Reverend Terry Troya. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing? I'm sorry I'm letting you into my little
space.
not clean office. My
That means you're very busy. I mean, there's a lot of things at work there.
Exactly. Well, thanks for joining us. Taking some time out of your busy day to join us here on the Staten Island Morning Show. What other services that Project Hospitality provides? Tell us more about the operation.
So we've been around 40 years, and I want to say clearly that this began and still is an effort on the part of many people from the faith communities on Staten Island. Very grassroots. We are depending on people who volunteer from our schools, our churches, our synagogues, our mosques, and we have come together as a faith community to respond to hunger and homelessness in our community. And the way we have done that over the years, and as we continue to do it, we do street outreach every night and every day, 24 hours a day. We're everywhere on Staten Island. And in that being everywhere, we really try to answer phone calls from people who spot homeless people or find homeless people in parks, in bus stops, on the front doors of their houses sometimes, or in their backyards, or in businesses. We bring folks into a 24-hour drop-in center, and in that drop-in center, people can meet with health care, mental health care, take a shower, get a change of clothes, start to feel human again. 3 meals a day. People sit in comfortable chairs, and we work very hard to move a person from a chair into a bed. And Staten Island currently doesn't have any shelters for homeless people that are 24-hour and public. Wow. And so what we do is we have churches who have committed to open up their doors every night of the week for a homeless person to have a place to lay their head. It's a volunteer effort, and volunteers from the community come and sleep with the homeless people at night. This has been going on for 40 years at Project Hospitality, and it's just like so amazing. And to acknowledge those churches, Olivet Presbyterian Church, and Bethel United Methodist Church, and Shiloh AME Church, and Unitarian Church of Staten Island, St. Andrew's, Church of St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. All of these churches have just given of themselves, given of their space, given of their personal lives. But from that shelter bed, people then come in to see us, and we work with a plan to find them permanent housing. Many of the people we serve are disabled, and as a result of being disabled, they really need care. They need help with their finances. People who are disabled and are only on SSI or only on public assistance or don't have any income at all, how are they going to find housing? So what we do is we have developed supportive housing that comes with a social service component. So housing that comes with subsidies so that a person can stay where they're living and not have to worry because we've got their rent covered. And we've done this through a series of transitional apartments throughout Staten Island. More than 350 apartments we manage, and we are there to assist people in their lives, their daily lives. In addition to that, we have just completed our second building of new affordable apartments. The answer to homelessness is housing, affordable housing. In 2017, we opened up 16 apartments for disabled homeless people in Clifton and Staten Island. And that is an amazing building on Vanderbilt Avenue. Just 2 months ago, we opened up 48 units, both for formerly homeless people with disabilities and for low-income people in the Port Richmond and North Shore community of Staten Island. That is an amazing feat, because now we have built new units of housing, 16 and 48. I know we have a serious housing crisis in New York, and those numbers are very small, a drop in the bucket, a pebble in an ocean. But inch by inch, we're going to be able to conquer homelessness by building affordable housing to keep people housed, to keep people in their communities, whether they're disabled or able or working at a very low wage job. They deserve a place to live that is safe. Housing is a human right. It's their right, and we're here to protect it.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here too.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 years you've been doing this. This is an amazing feat. And it's not just the volunteers. It's like you said, it's affordable housing. How have you been able to sustain this for 40 years and help all of these people? What goes into something like this?
Well, you have to have a vision of what it's like to have your own home. And don't we each have that vision? Don't we like coming home at night? So knowing how precious it is to have a place to lay your head that's safe, that's what carries you forward, with tremendous compassion and sympathy and right action and just action and loving action for people that don't have that option. I mean, I spend a lot of my time walking the streets, sometimes at night, sometimes during the day, and people just ask for help. Please help me find a place. Yesterday, a woman came here. She lost her home. She owned her home. Something happened financially. I don't know what happened. But last night, she had no place to lay her head. She was a Staten Islander who was a homeowner for most of her life. I can't unravel the story in a 10-minute conversation, but I could offer her a safe place for yesterday evening. And that's what you have to do. You have to act immediately, because I've seen people freeze to death in the cold, and I've seen people endure tremendous injuries in the hot summer, falling asleep in the sun. It's not right that people live where garbage is. It's not right that people live in places that are not for human habitation. Just last night, we had hundreds of volunteers on the streets of Staten Island participating in what is called the homeless count. So we were everywhere. We were in wooded areas. We were in parks. We were in the ferry terminal. We were just walking the streets. If anybody that we saw between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. was out there and not waiting for a bus, that was a homeless person. We have to be able to see the people who are in need. We have to be able to see their need. Wow. And that's what sustains us. And the victories are small, but the victories happen every day. I just want to say that. The victories happen every day. And that's what sustains us.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody get a house, seeing somebody feed their family. And I just want to say the component with this, especially post-COVID, with the rising prices of food, we have the largest network of food pantries in Staten Island. We have vans that go out every day from Tompkinsville, where I live, to Tottenville. And they are distributing fresh fruits and vegetables, proteins, grains, for families, for the elderly, for the infirmed. We bring to people's houses when they can't come out themselves. During COVID, we served many homeless, many housed families with COVID that couldn't go out and get their own food, because they were quarantined. And today, the number of people who have food needs is off the chart because people can't afford $5 for a dozen eggs. Think about it. People can't afford what we're forced to pay. So for us, what's so important, having provided over 5 million meals in 2022, that we know that we have to continue to find a way to get people to donate to us, for us to be able to spend that money on putting food on people's tables. People who are poor, especially the working poor, make a choice between feeding their family and keeping a roof over their heads. No human being should be faced with that choice.
Yeah, absolutely right.
We fill in the gap, and we invite you to come and visit us.
Yeah, where can people find out more information?
Call us 718-448-1544, extension 127, and we'll direct you to the place where you can volunteer, where you can donate, where you can make a difference.
Amazing. Reverend Troya, thank you so much for being on with us and for the time today.
Thank you very much for having me. God bless you. And come and visit us in person.
We will. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Yes,
Happy
you
New
too.
Year.
Wow, amazing work. She's
Amazing
doing.
work.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so well needed at this point. Like she was saying, I mean, just a carton of eggs. It's just unreal. All right, we're going to switch gears now and get a check your forecast. It was a cloudy and dreary start to the week, but things are starting to look up for now. The sun will make an appearance today. Woohoo! With temperatures around 43 to 44 degrees across the islands. Looking ahead to the next 3 days. Nobody likes the dreary weather, right? But we have sloppy weather on the way for Wednesday. That weather quickly clears up for the end of the week. So that's the good news there. Sunshine for the weekend will be limited, however, but it'll be dry with above normal temperatures. Once again, right around the middle to upper 40s. So it won't be too bad to get outside, maybe do some shopping or attend some events, maybe play some soccer. Don't go anywhere right now, though, because we're going to have a look at the 7-day forecast. That's coming up in the next weather update. So the trend of this above normal weather continues.
Yeah, the trend has been our friend, as many of our...
Not for the snow lovers, but for the folks who don't enjoy.
Right, tomorrow may be... could be a little interesting.
Tricky.
You may see it a little bit, but it's not going to stick around.
Maybe it's a work from home day tomorrow.
Could be. I like that. Yeah, a WFH with a PTO, right? On top of it. So
right, exactly.
We'll count the PTO. We'll just go the WFH. Exactly. So so tomorrow could be a little bit interesting, but with these temps in the 40s or whatever, I just feel like it has to almost get like really cold. I don't know if it's going to be possible. I'm not sure.
I'm
nervous
it's just,
I
that
feel like we're
March and April is going to be just the hammer is going to come down.
Well, there's plenty of precedent for that. I mean, how many times has the Mets or the Yankees been delayed or postponed because of snow? At the end of March. I mean, baseball keeps starting earlier and earlier. I might as well start in February and forget spring training. Altogether.
A lot of people would like that. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. But it's right around that St. Patrick's Day time frame.
Yeah.
Man, that stuff is like wet cement if it comes down. It's just like it literally is like shoveling wet cement. It's so heavy. It's like so much moisture.
Well, you won't be shoveling it tomorrow. That's the good news.
No,
but if you are driving, it's going to be kind of
exactly. So
dicey.
if you can, maybe get some things done today. If you maybe we're planning on doing some stuff tomorrow, if possible. Get out and enjoy the beautiful sunshine. Let's get you over to the maps here this morning. We still have our delays on the Staten Island Expressway in either direction, and that's coming into Richmond Avenue, and that is because on the westbound side, the HOV lane is shut down. So that is shut down here until about 2 o'clock, and that's coming up from Toad Hill Road on into the construction eastbound. Just a little bit of a minor backup through the long-term construction. We'll widen it up here. Goethals Bridge, Bayonne Bridge is fine. The North Shore here, Richmond Terrace is good. Even Bay Street getting up to St. George the Ferry. We are looking good as well. West Shore Expressway, not terrible here this morning. Looks great. A lot of green coming through the Korean War Veterans Parkway. Same thing along Highland Boulevard. So Amboy Road. So everything is looking good. Outer Bridge into New Jersey is clear. The one spot I need to show you here on the map, and for the last hit, I'll find the camera for us from our friends at the New Jersey Turnpike, is the Turnpike, the outer roadway truck lanes. Getting south of Interchange 10. If you're in a passenger car, go with the inner roadway because it is under construction here, just south of Interchange 10. So that's going to tie you up just a bit. That's there until 2 o'clock. What also will tie you up here is the inbound side of the Gowanus Expressway this morning, just as you approach on into the top of the world. And we'll go to the cameras, and there it is, closing up the right lane. Looks like a broken down tractor trailer cab there. So NYPD is on scene, but so far no help has arrived. Again, it's a tough spot to get some sort of assistance to the driver of the truck here because it's just of the nature of where it is. So we go back to the maps. You can see it's just jammed through Industry City. So leave yourself plenty of extra travel time. Eastbound belt now starting to see a little bit back up coming in towards just before you get into Plum Beach there, out by Knapp Street. Looks like there may be some road work setting up. But the ride all the way out to Kennedy Airport is in good shape. MTA, though, we still have the Staten Island Railway, Arthur Kiel to Princess Bay board at the Tottenville platforms today and tomorrow. So keep that in mind, as well as on Friday, just to plan your travels accordingly. So let's look at another busy day on the roads and the rails.
Busy, busy. All right, Donnie. Well, Staten Island-based tech expert Patrick Buono is being honored with the Lewis R. Miller Business Leadership Award by the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce. Buono has been servicing businesses in Staten Island since 1987, currently serving as the president and CEO of Aurora Computer Technology, Inc. It's been a successful turn for Buono, who began his career as an accountant. Congrats to him. That's
Yes,
great.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's probably dealing with Apple II,
Yeah,
Apple II computers, maybe, or something.
probably refurbishing and all
Exactly,
that stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
Well, this is not fun stuff. Domestic violence officers from the 121st Precinct engaged in community outreach this weekend, giving Staten Islanders safety tips to protect themselves. The officers set up a table at 1520 Forest Avenue, giving out materials and encouraging Staten Islanders to reach out to the NYPD's resources if they are the victim of an incident. It's one of several recent outreach events from the precinct in recent weeks, and I think it's such a great idea. You know, that kind of just knowing who, you know, the members of the precinct there in your community, you know, you build up a rapport with them.
It's
and if
all
something
about
does
it.
happen, you can kind of let them know. And, you know, and again, there's a lot of that happening all across the country.
And it's not just for domestic violence issues too. It's just really, you've heard of these, you know, coffee with a cop, pizza with a cop. You know, these kinds of activities really helps community members get to know who is in their community and who is protecting them. So I think it's definitely vital, I think, just again for those relationships and to have that, because who do you turn to when there is a real emergency and you know these people now by name and by face? It's much more helpful.
Exactly.
Than, you know.
Yeah. So you can reach out to them if something is going on or whatever. At least, you know, you put a name to the face kind of a thing. It's just not a badge and a uniform walking down the street or in a you know, patrol car, that kind of thing. You know, you get to know the neighborhood, you get to know the community that, you know,
who's covering your block. I mean, yeah, it's definitely vital. So some good news there. Well, this is amazing. There is a new mobile bar service that is popping up at events all across Staten Island. Park and Pours is a female-owned and operated business, bringing the bar and a unique experience right to you. And joining us now is one of the founders, Christine Kaminsky. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Morning.
This is an awesome idea. How did you come up with this to turn a trailer into a fun mobile bar?
Well, actually, one of our friends was on TikTok and saw somebody do it and brought it to us. And we were like, oh my God, we've got to do this. So that's how it became.
That's how it came. It all starts with TikTok, I feel like now.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
These days, yes.
It all comes back.
I remember years ago where the town that I live in, they had a, you know, the fire department was celebrating an anniversary and they brought a fire truck and instead of water, they had beer in the fire truck.
Wow.
They just, you know,
that's right.
It was a pretty interesting afternoon to say the least, right? So Christine, you do events like weddings, engagement parties, and corporate events. What's the reaction you get when people showers? What's the reaction you get when people see that trailer pull up, right?
People are excited. They're like, wow, this is great. I need to have this. I can't wait for the warmer weather. I'm having a backyard party.
That's cool. We're seeing some of the photos here too of some of the, you know, events that you've done. I mean, a lot of work went into this for sure.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into that.
How long did it take you to renovate make the trailer, you know, create the trailer itself?
Well, what usually takes people years, it took us a few months.
Wow.
So yeah, we kept at it like almost every day because we knew we had to get out there.
Wow. And so when is your busiest time of year? Would it be the summer?
Spring and summer, yes.
Spring and summer.
Definitely, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we have a lot of bookings for the spring, a lot of bookings for the summer so far.
Now, mocktails, I think I had my first one over the weekend on Saturday. It was some kind of mojito kind of a thing or whatever, and it was really it was great, you know. But I think I was really waiting for the alcohol. But anyway, so they become really popular. Do you mix it up with some non-alcoholic drinks?
Yes,
for some of your
yes,
customers?
we do mocktails. We offer mocktails. Not everybody likes alcohol, which is fine, you know. And also for kids' parties, we do mocktails. So it's pretty popular with the moms. For the mocktails.
Something for everyone. Do you have any like signature drinks that you serve?
No, I mean you're offered a signature drink for your event, so people usually pick out their own signature drinks.
I'm just trying to think, what would be like a signature drink that would incorporate Staten Island, like the Staten Islander or something. I'm not quite sure what's kind of popular. Is it
You
gin?
could
Is it
probably do the
vodka?
ferry boat.
Ah, there you go.
What
There
goes
you
into
go.
that?
Yeah.
What's the
We'd
ferry
have
boat?
we'd have to definitely think about that. But I think that'd be a good signature drink for Staten Island.
Blue agave or whatever, right?
Oh,
The
Right,
water.
yeah.
And you need something yellow for the ferry, maybe. I don't know.
Right,
Orange
John
juice.
could be your
Right?
server if you need someone. John might be available. He has bow ties and everything.
I do have
That's
bow ties.
great.
Yes,
That's
Christine,
great.
Absolutely.
Where can people find more information and book you guys?
We're on Instagram at Park and Pours, and we're on Facebook, Park and Pours, and we also have TikTok, Park and Pours.
Of course, it's full circle. Love it. Thank you so much for spending some time
Thanks
with us.
for
this morning,
having us.
Christine. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
You
Have
too.
fun.
Wow, that was fun.
That-
Right? Interesting to see that
That
roll
is
up,
a
right?
brilliant idea.
Wow.
Brilliant. I'm mad at myself
must
for
be-
not coming up with that.
Yeah, right? Exactly. It must be like kind of the new ice cream truck, when I was a kid, the
Right?
thing rolling through the town with the
What
bells.
song would you play? Maybe like
I don't know.
Margaritaville or something?
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Something like,
Sure, yeah.
especially for the summertime.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, coming up,
Or tequila.
yes, what a new
PBR.
study says is a great thing to do right here in New York.
And plus, a look at what's next for the Giants after their season. It came to an end last weekend.
That was a rough one. You
Ooh.
can always find us on social media, by the way. Search for Staten Island Morning Show on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and click follow.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
Travel is part of the American way of life.
When we're on vacation, we keep an eye out for anything that looks out of place.
Miss your bag.
When we travel from city to city, we pay attention to our surroundings.
Everyone plays a role in keeping our community safe.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, be aware of your surroundings. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Welcome back to the Staten Island Morning Show. We're going back to your weather headlines now for just a moment. We want to highlight that Wednesday afternoon and evening forecast. It's going to be sloppy for some traveling. So some snow is expected to start falling by the mid to late morning hours. So the early morning commute should not be impacted. As we progress through the afternoon, however, that snow will then eventually transition over to rain. So make sure you take your time getting home from work tomorrow if you are going out and about. The good news is that a dry weekend is expected. And in fact, we'll stay dry once the storm departs very early Thursday and going right through the end of the weekend. There is a chance for some showers on Monday. Temperatures for much of the next 7 days will be around the middle to upper 40s, with the exception being Friday, when temperatures will be stuck in the upper 30s. But again, not terrible at
No,
this
it's
point
not.
in,
And
the season.
looking at the graphics from Johnny Rocco there, getting out
Yeah.
to next week. I mean, the temperatures are actually heading back up again.
It's been crazy. It's
So
been
what a
crazy.
roller coaster, really. You know what? In some ways, maybe a roller coaster is not really the word, but it's just been it's been consistent, but it's been
Yeah.
consistently above normal for
Right.
the most part for the last
And
month or so.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Other
And
than
I'm-
Christmas, where it was like, a massive freezer, but that
Right.
was like 48 hours.
and then they were done. Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, we don't get a massive snowstorm in March. I'll
No.
put it. I'll knock on every piece of wood in
Exactly,
here.
right.
So yeah, that it doesn't happen. All right, how are we doing on the roads?
Yeah. How we doing on the roads?
Is there bad news there? Please?
Yeah, well, a
No?
little bit of bad news here.
Okay.
Let's get, not really terrible news. It's kind of the normal stuff Staten Islanders expect with the Staten Island Expressway, and it seems to deliver on a daily basis. So we go over towards Richmond Avenue. We've got the slowdowns heading east into Richmond Avenue, 440 with the long-term construction. Westbound side, we have the HOV lane shut down just west of Toad Hill Road, and that's there until just about 2 o'clock. Now, I was seeing some things here onto, if you go using the Goethals Bridge to get onto the turnpike here this morning, I'm trying to see which direction that is. Actually coming back into New Jersey. No, it's not. So let's just quickly go to the list for the Turnpike. Let me bring that up here this morning, if we can do that. There we go. We want to go to interchange. Where am I? 13. Let's just see if it brings it up. And it is not. The camera's not working. So we go here. So yeah. So looks like something is definitely going on there on the ramp to interchange 13. So be aware of that. Now we go to the West Shore Expressway. Well, now we're starting to see some backups here heading north just by Rossville Avenue. Looks like the road work may be setting up in that location. Outer Bridge Crossing is fine. Here is the Turnpike. If you are making your way out through Woodbridge, Perth Amboy, getting in towards Edison, that's where I am seeing the construction. Let's see if the cameras here from our friends at the Turnpike Authority are working. No deal there. So there is road work just south of 10 in the truck lane. So be careful of that. Get into the car lanes if you possibly can do so. Now we go to the Verrazano. Things are in pretty good shape. Bayonne Bridge is fine. Bay Street up to the ferry is looking good. So is Richmond Terrace, Highland Boulevard, Richmond Road along the South Shore. We're fine. Amboy Road as well. Inbound Gowanus is good until you get up towards the Prospect, where we showed you about 10 minutes ago. This, it just is on the move. So you're seeing and hearing that first in the Staten Island Morning Show. That's the inbound side of the Gowanus at the Prospect. Just as you get up to the beginning of the top of the world, the right lane was shut with a broken down tractor trailer cab. That is now gone. We'll go back to our maps. I want to show you the Bell Parkway, though. As you go east of Coney Island Avenue, out towards Sheepshead Bay, seeing a little bit of a slowdown in either direction, potentially some road work setting up there. But then as you travel east out to the Kennedy Airport is going to be moving well. And again, all SIR trains from Arthur Kittle, Princess Bay board at the Tottenville bound platform today and tomorrow, as well as Friday. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, especially with the weather rolling in.
Yes,
if you are going to take
absolutely.
the train, just, keep that in mind for sure. So here's a fun one. A new study from Wallet Hub, we love Wallet Hub, says New York is one of the best states in the country to raise a family. We come in at, drum roll, number 3 in the nation. Yeah, the survey included factors like family fun, health and safety, and of course, education. New York's highest rank came in family fun, where it finished second.
It's all
really
about
no
family
surprise.
fun. Yeah,
because
I
there's
don't
really
think so.
something to do for everybody.
Oh,
New York.
totally.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. If you can't find to do here, you're not going to find it anywhere.
yeah,
Really.
for sure.
I don't think so. So
That's fun.
it is absolutely. What was not fun was the Giants debacle on Saturday night. Well, the Giants season came to an end last weekend with 38-7 loss to the Eagles. Here now to tell us what's next for them is Chris Sakonis. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Don, Christina. And yeah, the Giants coaching staff and front office are now looking towards the next chapter after a remarkable turnaround season in East Rutherford. It came to an end last weekend. Now, some big questions loom for this Giants group, starting with the contract status of quarterback Daniel Jones and running back Saquon Barkley. General Manager Joe Shane says it's a question of making the numbers work.
This is a special team. To me, it was my first year. We'd like to have all the guys back. I really would, but there's a business side to it, and there's rules that you need to operate under in terms of the salary cap. And Saquon's, he's a good player. He's a great teammate. I love getting to know him this season, and he's a guy we would like to have back. It's just, again, we haven't had our end of season meetings yet. We're less than 48 hours after that game, so everybody's going to step back, take the emotion out of it, evaluate the roster, and then again, we got to operate under a salary cap. How are you going to divvy up? How we're going to create the roster?
Negotiations with both Jones and Barkley are in the early stages, and an agreement isn't expected in the near future. Get you update on some of the other stuff going on in New York sports. Over to the NHL, mixed bag for New York's hockey teams. Rangers won in emphatic fashion, taking down the Panthers 6-2 at the Garden. Mika Zibanejad scored twice, while goaltender Igor Shesterkin stopped 33 shots in the win over Florida. Islanders couldn't quite match that performance up in Toronto. They lost 5-2 to the Maple Leafs. On the hardwood, the Knicks will return to the Garden tonight, hosting the Cavaliers at 7:30. So that's what's going on in sports. Don, Christina, send it back over to you.
Yeah, Chris, the Knicks need some help. Losers are 4 out of 5 and losing twice to Toronto in less than the last week. So Toronto's really got their number there, especially in that overtime loss to them about a week or so ago. So the Knicks are kind of a little bit of a free fall to a degree, although they've been playing fairly well at the end of December. So, Brooklyn kind of still holding strong as well. It's good to see the Rangers are still continuing their winning ways. But the Giants thing, it's going to be interesting to see how they
Saquon.
how they piece it together. Now it comes into all the front office, general manager type stuff.
It sounds like
it's all about making the numbers work.
Yeah. I mean, you want to see him stay, but it sounds like the way he's speaking, I don't know. Not so confident.
Yeah, and again, you wouldn't blame him either. I mean,
Yeah.
coming off the injury from last season, and I mean, if he can get out there and make the money now, I mean, NFL is not guaranteed money in any way, shape, or form once you get that contract. So might as well, move, if you have to move on to something else, that's fine. But it's not like baseball where it's not as
those 9-year,
Yeah,
multi-million-dollar
exactly.
deals.
Right. Maybe they're hoping that will be the case.
All right, Chris, thank you
Yeah,
so
Chris,
much.
thanks.
Lots to look forward to.
Thank you.
All right, well, that does it for us. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Christina Bear.
And I'm Don Smith. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 9.